back! They have won the Stanley Cup!
I think it's tough enough to win one. We've done two, so you might as well go for three, right?
Our time, baby, back to back. That's how we do it.
What do you think of this team?
Unbelievable. Nobody can beat us. Back to back years.
It's so much fun to be a part of. The crowd can have an effect on teams. The emotions get turned up.
And then last year, they gave Vezina to somebody else. Number one bullshit. Oh, number one bullshit.
Here it is for you guys. Enjoy.
Welcome to We the Thunder. I'm here with Thomas Gooley in the stash.
Is it the mustache? Who knows?
Who knows? We are early for the pre-game show tonight. That's right. We're switching it up. An East Coast pre-game show this time around. We've never done this before, boys.
Groundbreaking, as usual.
As I was explaining, I haven't ate my dinner yet, so I might be extra cranky on this show. But we have a jam-packed show to get started. We're going to talk about some of the games last week. We're going to talk about tonight's game at 6:30. We're going to have the guys from the Devils podcast come on. One of them, I butchered his name earlier. His name's Neil. So he's going to come on at 6:30. And right now, we're going to bring on Mr. Gene at Buck What You Heard, because his show is streaming on Wednesday nights on this channel you're watching right now. So let's bring him in. Let's bring him into a little hockey music here. He does a Bucks podcast. So you might not know. There he is. That's our Nintendo hockey music. So
I'm liking this. And for the record, football season's over. It's Puck What You Heard is the name of the show in the off season. So
that's right. They're a rival podcast that we have on our own network now.
Get him out of here.
We've got a couple reasons why you're joining. Number one is because we have a special giveaway from your friends and our friends too at Smack Apparel. Maybe some news coming up with this week with them as well. More news. I just hit the trigger. If you want to use the hashtag Buck What You Heard, which is going to be on this channel on Wednesday nights at 7 p.m. In your comments, that is what's going to get you entered into the competition tonight. So hashtag at Buck What You Heard. I'll put that up on a banner, and you'll get a Smack Apparel shirt. One person will, not everyone that uses.
I'm rocking my Game Point Smack Apparel t-shirt today, so I thought I would.
Nice.
Oh, we also wanted you to come on because you went to a Lightning game. You were Distant Thunder in Arizona, so we definitely want to talk about that game. And let's actually kick it off with that. So you went to that game, 4-3, Bolts win. Actually, pretty competitive game. Coyotes played really well. So give me your highlights and your lowlights of attending an Arizona Coyotes game.
I tell you what, the attendance was probably the lowlights, but again, there's a lot. They're in flux right now, and they're getting ready to move out of the arena they're in. They will be over in Tempe. I guess eventually they're building a stadium, but they're going to use the arena that the ASU Sun Devils are using. So they're in flux. I understand that, and they have a really scrappy team. I like watching them. Them guys are aggressive, and They played fast, and I love the game. It made the game fun. But the highlight for me was the way Bolts fans traveled. I was shocked with the number of Bolts fans that I saw there, and you saw the Martin St. Louis shirts, the Vinny LeCavalier, and I was sad that I didn't wear my Hobby Bullen jersey because I would have fit right in with these old schoolers that are just, rocking these jerseys and talking about the first Stanley Cup and how fun it was for that. And it was just really cool to get to talk with them. And I had just gone to a game with my man Shooter here, and we had a great time right before Gasparilla, and it was a lot of fun just getting to talk to some of the fans that have been fans for a really long time.
Now, let me ask you about that Hobby Bullen jersey, because we got him from Arizona. Then they were called the Phoenix Coyotes. Would people know if you wore that jersey, and especially if you wore the Lightning version? Would people give you a shout out? Because you did get shout outs from the old school fans when you came here to Tampa. But are people in Arizona do they still respect? Do they know the Bullen Wall? Do they not care because he didn't win a Stanley Cup there?
I don't know, because you see you got Wayne Gretzky hanging in the banners. It was one of the banners on the Ring of Honor kind of thing that they have there. So I don't know. It's just been I don't want to say a mishmash, but I don't really know what to really call it. But I don't think they have the tradition like what you would have in Tampa. I know there was that talk that Tampa is not a hockey town, but you can throw that out the window. But in all honesty, do they really have any sort of hockey tradition? I mean, you had people that were going, but it wasn't on the level like what I saw at Amalie Arena. So I don't know. It's kind of a sore subject with some of those guys. They're like, yeah, we're going. And some people just go to be seen or gives them something to do. But I don't know. I just kind of question that sometimes.
Now, what do you think?
They moved around a lot. So, they don't have a lot of tradition because they've played in 4 different arenas already. And they've been bought and sold 3 times.
Yeah.
Batman won't let them be sold because the only people interested in buying them want to move them.
Yeah.
It's the 11th biggest TV market in the country. So the money is there for media rights, which is where most of the revenue for the league comes from. So keeping them there makes sense financially, in a business perspective. But that's what they're about to be played in. Shooter's sharing a little video here of this 3,000 capacity arena they're moving to. And that looks like my high school gym, Yeah,
I'm playing hockey later tonight. It might be in a bigger arena than that.
Right. So there's that problem with them. But I think it's just like with the Lightning. It comes down to having good ownership. You look at any other team in the league. Right. Some teams have better tradition, like you're saying, so they're able to draw no matter what. But there are very few teams in this league that are going to be financially viable if you don't have ownership that's invested and a fan base that thinks you're trying to win every season. You know what I mean? There's plenty of other teams that are struggling in this league. It just doesn't as apparent, and it's not as front and center. And you can move them, but the ownership has to be there, and it can't just be someone looking to make a quick buck by moving this team real quick and getting a nice sweetheart deal up front.
Yeah, they have to be invested. In the community as well. And I just watching the team and how they played, and I think it would be fun to for the locals to have a team like this if they could get a couple more veteran pieces in there and do a little bit more with it. I think that you would be onto something, to be honest.
Actually, I think they have lots of veterans. If you have a team, if you told me you were going to have a team that had Andrew Ladd, that had Phil Kessel, Clayton Keller, Ghost Despair, Galachuk, Jay Beagle, all these Strawman, Riley Nash. You told me that you had a team like that, you would think their record would be a lot better than what they are. I think they don't play to their potential. And their goaltending isn't.
They played up to they played up to the Bolts in this game.
Well, and they played well against the Avalanche recently too.
Right, you had what's this Elliott in the net, not Vassy. I don't know.
Yeah, 2 of those goals I don't think get by Vassy, especially the one that went 5-hole.
Yeah, and then the talk about the fans that show up That's always been a thing. And every team always says how Tampa travels well. That was one of the reasons why Tampa got the Global Series game in Sweden. And that's why we got the game in the Stadium Series in Nashville. Nashville, from what I was told, was specifically asked to go against Tampa because they would be able to sell out the Nissan Stadium because Tampa fans would travel to the game.
Tampa fans will buy 8 or 10 tickets and then not be able to sell half of them, and they'll still be counted as being sold. So they don't give a shit. That's all they care about. They got sold. They don't care if they get resold. They just got sold initially. And there's a lot. And listen, I'm not trying to be a dick about it, but like, there's a lot of people that question how come you had. Why did you buy 12 tickets?
8.
Like,
the most you could buy was 8. As soon as they went on sale, I got my 8. But it's the Tampa. I mean, even the first year we did Vegas, between Thunderbolts and Sticks of Fire, I say we had 100 to 150 people there. And then Vegas changed their rules where they weren't even selling group tickets to opposing fans anymore after that, after the inaugural season.
Broke them. We broke them.
Well,
we do.
So what do you think of the game? And were you cheering for my boy here?
I was just gonna say, how did the fans there react to Stamkos and like Braden Boyd and stuff like that to seeing them play? You know what I mean? Because yes, Arizona does have a good team of veteran guys and they play up, but very few teams have the kind of talent that the Lightning do, and it was on full display really throughout that game.
Yeah, and honestly, when I was watching the game, it seemed like the Bolts were in charge, but they seemed tired. Or I don't know if I'm not making excuses. It wasn't like they were a couple of weeks ago when we were at the game. They played a lot faster and they were a little bit more aggressive. But it just seemed like at this game they were tired, and I don't know if it's the cross country trip or
back to back. They played the night before in Colorado in a pretty tough game.
Which is why Elliott got the nod.
No.
So there you go. But they just they did enough to win. And there were a couple of times I was like, well, they just need another goal, and then they get another goal, and then you're like, okay, we're good. And it just seemed like they were a step slower than what we've seen, but that makes sense, when you say that they went from Colorado and they came to Arizona, and just just the way they came out and played, they were very professional, and it was cool to see that I was that close to the bench and getting to see everybody. It was really cool just to watch the inner workings and watch how everything just kind of flows. It was really cool.
That's the advantage of being a Arizona resident, is you had some pretty good seats to that game. Those seats are a little bit harder to find in Tampa.
No, I would never be able to do that at Emily without paying a couple of grand. Yeah.
Well, you might not be able to next year at the Sun Devil Arena either, because there'll be very limited seats there.
Yeah. They might actually be a commodity.
Sell out.
So we'll
get
see.
Your season tickets now.
Phoenix,
or Arizona fans.
Or Gila or whatever, Flagstaff.
So we also we did a little watch party the night before up at Johnny's, and we had the Queen there. We had Peter Blake show up.
Right, our fellow Peter Blake.
And then we had a good old time. Thomas even graced us with his presence for two full periods. It was a late one. Good game up there. I think we lost that game 3-2. We didn't have a shot in the first 15 minutes, it seemed like. I think I'm exaggerating there, but it was a really slow start for the Bolts off that 10 game or 10 day no game stretch there. But then they came out of the gates with this goal, which is probably one of the best goals of the year. Let's play it.
Yeah.
I don't even know if you guys can hear this.
at center. Kucherov, nice move across the blue line. Right circle, point open. In front, Kucherov, score!
Too easy for those two. And points been heating up. Kuch still not completely in midseason form, but that you saw the Lightning get better throughout that game against basically, I think they're the top team in the league right now. Colorado, they're definitely the hottest team in the league right now, despite that loss to Arizona a couple weeks ago. So I didn't think that game was too bad, just because they were battling back the whole time. They had chances to tie it up, just couldn't get it done against a really good team. And hey, that might be a Stanley Cup final match that we just saw a preview to. And we've dropped 2 games to the Avs. We don't play them again. We've lost both games to them, but they were both very close games.
Yes.
We've said that on the podcast every year, and Colorado has not.
Can't make it through. You're right. Well, I mean, there's talks about Giroux maybe they're making a move for him, but
Vegas is looking at bringing back Fleury or the Rangers. Or
they just put Mark Stone on long-term IR to get Eichel back this week.
I can't listen. I don't even know.
But it looks like Lettner's going to have to go on LTIR.
Hey, I'm not mad at him. That's the rule. We played within the rules.
We did it differently. We did it completely differently, I will say. The Lightning added guys after the fact because Cooch was hurt, and because they're literally putting somebody on IR just to make sure, who has been playing all season, mind you, have been well enough to play through the injury all season. And now that it's time for Eichel to come back, now it's bad enough. And I wonder how healthy he's going to be when the postseason rolls around. You know
he's going to be healthy.
So that's what I'm saying. So, like, you could sit here and look at, everyone has their eyes on Tampa last year, but I think this is a lot more fishy of a move than what the Lightning have ever done. So I think it's even worse than.
The Lightning did sign Cirelli and Sergachev before they announced Kucherov, and everybody was like, where'd this money come from? Who are we getting rid of? Who are we getting rid of? And then the very next day it was Kucherov going on LTIR.
They knew he was going to be on LTIR. I think you're right, Stash. I think they're manipulating it a little bit more. And hey, maybe the NHL hasn't done anything about it. We've talked about this plenty back in 2020, but like it was the Lightning who wanted the rule change. So
and I think
the Lightning and other teams are taking advantage of it now. What are you going to do?
Yeah, I was I'm not really mad at it, and I think the owners enjoy this loophole secretly. As obviously, well, not even secretly, openly, because the Lightning was the only team to vote against it. So, or one of 2 teams, right? So, but yeah, it's interesting to see what they're going to do. But there was a post that Hockey News, or no, it was actually NHL Network posted about Colorado and how they're this team or whatever. And I'm like, I still think every team in the league is playing catch up to the Lightning right now. The healthy Lightning is still the deepest team in the league. Even if they had room or had the money and cap space, I don't know. I mean, they probably go to look for someone on the blue line that they could add, but when they're healthy, they're still the best team in the league, and they're still the deepest team in the league. So everyone is still playing catch up coming into the deadline, as far as I'm concerned.
I hope so, because we have this much cap space. This much. The Rangers are the team
we're not making a move. Yeah,
because they're the ones that are going to be. They've got like 20 million in cap space, but I guess Fox is out. Their goalie's been carrying them, so I don't know.
Yeah, and again, you can spend the money, but we also know there's only one team that's proven that they know how to get it done in the postseason right now, and that's the Lightning. And it's the core of this Lightning team that's together. Sure, they've had to add a couple pieces here and there the last 2 seasons, but the core and the biggest talent on this team has proven they know how to get it done in the postseason. And none of these other teams have proven that they can get to the finals. I mean, Vegas has got there, but recently, but you know what I mean? Like none of the other teams can make it. So
yeah. All right. Well, we are going to do at 6:30 Eastern time. We are going to do this giveaway because we're going to kick Gene out of here, and we're going to welcome in.
He's out of here.
We're going to welcome in.
I miss our going back and forth on social media. For the longest time, people thought we hated each other, and it was hilarious.
Great. I miss that too. Anytime Shooter gives someone a hard time on social media, I'm a fan of it.
People would DM me and like, why do you guys hate each other so much? Like, he's got no talent.
Well, those are all true. That was all true.
Why don't you tell us a little bit about your show so we can get some of these folks over there on Wednesday nights at 7:00? You had one of the first real Bucks shows that have been out there. You've been doing this for a long time, and you helped us figure out how to how the heck to take phone calls on this show. So thank you for that. By the way, no phone calls tonight. You've given us the power, and we won't give it to the people.
We have abused it.
With great
tell
power
us a little bit
comes
about
great
the show.
responsibility
And manipulation.
and manipulation. Yeah, that too.
Because I know you like to have a lot of guests on. You somehow pulled before the Bucks and Rams game, Bert Emanuel from Rams Bucks lore back in '99. He just shows up on your show. Who'd you have on last week from Smack? You had Jeff on. I talked to Jeff today. But yeah, tell us about your show.
Yeah. So what I like to do, my show is fan centric, kind of like exactly like what you have here. I just feel like that the media, you're not getting a voice with the media, and I want to make sure that fans get their voice, or fans are able to talk about whatever's on their mind. I want it to be a safe zone, and if the team isn't doing well in your opinion, be able to talk about it and not have somebody shut you down or hang up on you or whatever. I've had some of the craziest hot takes on my show, but it's a good place for people to be able to do that. And that's what I love about doing this is, we're all fans here at the end of the day. I love, watching this show. I'll, chime in every so often. And, that's what it's all about is getting listeners to come in and feel comfortable. And this is a great place because you're invested in the team more so than a journalist with an agenda, for example. So you guys are speaking facts, and you guys know a little bit more, or you go a little bit more in depth, and so that's what makes it great. And I always appreciate shows like this.
You hit the nail on the head. That's right. That's what we like to do. And look at this, Susie on the YouTube machine, first time commenter, could win a Smack Apparel shirt today. And by the way, for anyone that is going to Nashville, in case you have not heard, we're having a little get together at Tootsie's, 9 p.m. Friday night. There's, I think, on the events that we set up on Facebook, there's about 100 people that are going. I think the capacity is about 75 at that place. So we'll see.
Do you have beads still?
We'll see what happens. Yeah, I got some lightning beads. It's Mardi Gras. Gene was making fun of me because the game we went to, they're giving out beads, and I'm like, I need some beads. We're going to Mardi Gras in Music City in a couple weeks. I stashed this bag, and the guy that's working there, he's like, hey, take all of them. I want to go home. So I'm like, all right, put them in the bag. So I'm going to be bringing those up there. We're going to have some lightning beads. So wear your lightning gear. Might have a couple other surprises for you. Jay Retcher last week on the show said he's going to probably swing by. So if anyone's going, make sure you know about that. We're going to post it all week next week.
Stash will be the bouncer at the door checking IDs.
Negative. Stash will have zero responsibilities. No. You can use me as a beacon to find the rest of the show for sure. I will be sticking out above the crowd, as we have talked about multiple times on the show. It's not apparent whatsoever if you watch the show and you've ever seen me on the show. Quite deceiving, the fact that I'm actually 6.5 feet tall, about 250 pounds, large human being. Catch everybody off guard when I meet you in person. They always freak out. It's always the same exact reaction. Yes, this
is more to scale.
It's very, very to scale, but it's still very deceiving because
we're like this.
I'm saying that, but yes, I'm a giant. Most people qualify me as a giant, so that will be your beacon if you do join us at Tootsie's for that amazing get together on Friday night before the game, not day of the game, but the day before the game, for us to all get together and enjoy some of Music City's finest experience and partying down there on Broadway.
What's their menu looking like?
Drinks,
nomination,
and blue drinks.
Drinks, that's it. Drinks.
But my plan was always to stick stash. It looks like there's a rooftop bar. It's kind of half in, half out on the roof. My plan was to always stick the stash up there with his jersey and just have people like wave people in. Almost, it will kind of be like King Kong with him up there. So we'll see. We'll see what happens.
And they have heaters. They put heaters up there because when we went to Nashville 2 years ago, it was at Christmas time, and it was so packed downstairs that we went straight upstairs to the outside roof bar, and they have heaters up there.
There you go.
Yeah. So I think that's probably where we're going to convene. But anyway, we got another show before then. Look for that. If you're going up there, make sure you RSVP. You don't have to, but just so we can get a better idea to warn these people how many folks we got coming. It's going to be a lot. It's going to be a lot of fun too.
Indeed it will be.
All right. What else?
I believe it's like a week and a half away.
We're going to do 3 more minutes to get your name in the hat here. Hashtag Buck what you heard. I'll tell you what, give us your score prediction for tonight and add that hashtag Buck what you heard in the chat. You got about 2 minutes left. We only have 9 entries so far, so you got a 1 in 9 chance to win this Smack Apparel shirt. If you guys don't know Smack Apparel, that's the company we gave out their shirts all playoffs last season, every single episode, which is awesome. And they've got new shirts too. Like we were rocking the Back to Bo and the Big Cat Vassy ones. They've got the number 1 bullshit. They've got the Game Point that Gene's got on. They've got some really good stuff out there. So get in there now because you only got a couple minutes left. And we're going to hopefully these Devils guys, I keep saying guys, it's one guy named Ian is going to join us from Devil's State of Mind and tell us a little bit about the New Jersey Devils because we haven't talked about the game that's happening in approximately 30 minutes here with our Bolts back in action tonight.
Real quick, Wednesday night, tomorrow night, women's gold medal hockey game in the Olympics, USA versus Canada, 11 o'clock at night. So everybody stay up and watch that.
Which day is that?
What was that?
Which day is that?
Tomorrow night, Wednesday.
Tomorrow night. Yeah, that is must-watch TV. Team USA has been flying, by the way. We were thinking if they did the NHLers in the Olympics, we were going to maybe pivot to just like a Team USA post-game show.
Yeah.
But that would have been tough to do at 10 a.m. in the morning.
10 a.m.
Well, they're kind of all over the place.
Yeah.
Cool.
China games. So I just was sitting here. If we're gonna got a couple of minutes to kill real quick before Ian comes on, the one stat that keeps just jumping out at me as I look at the standings and the overall standings here in the NHL, where have the Avalanche ahead 72 points, Panthers have 69, the Lightning are sitting on 68 points going into tonight's game, but the goal differential is a big thing that I keep seeing here. If you look at these top 6 teams in the NHL, Colorado, Florida, Tampa, as I mentioned, Pittsburgh, Carolina, Toronto, that's your top 6. We have by far the lowest goal differential at plus 27. Colorado's plus 59, Florida's plus 55, Carolina plus 52, Toronto plus 42, Pittsburgh's plus 36. So, and they played one more game than us. So, I mean, that's all right, but that's still 9 more in favor, and it's not as if we're not giving up as many, or it's 4 because you're looking at goals against 131 for Colorado, 139 for Florida, 136 for the Lightning. So right there, as far as goals against, it's the goals for 190, 194 for Colorado and Florida, 163 for Tampa. Carolina is in the 160s, Toronto. So, I mean, you're looking at definitely Florida and Carolina or Colorado are kind of leading the way in the goals for. But, I mean, Carolina is only 100 goals against, 128 for Pittsburgh. So you're seeing a little bit better goaltending there, too, or defense. So if there's one stat that's kind of glaring here going into the second season, to me, that's the only thing that I would circle in red if I were the Lightning.
Well, we're averaging 3.3 goals a game right now. We're allowing 2.7.
So, I mean, that's definitely got a lot better as the season has gone on.
Yep.
But, I mean, it's still, to me, that's the stat that I think that, you kind of keep a little bit of an eye on. Although that does change when you get to the playoffs, too, because scoring becomes much more of a premium. Your defense is playing a little bit different shift wise. Your whole scheme is a lot different when you get into a 7-game series. So, but that's like I said, that's the one thing I keep seeing every time I look at the standings.
Still a team where Cooch is only 5 games,
and that's probably what you're really seeing right there is a lack of scoring from Cooch. And even Point, he's right there now, catching up to Stamkos a little bit. But even
and then you've had a blue line that's been
also
teal.
depleted and not
Yeah,
being able to
they've been teal,
contribute.
not blue. So
Yeah.
you know, now we're Chernak coming back tonight. I see we're about to be joined by Ian, so we'll be able to talk more about that. So
Neil, I keep saying Ian. Neil.
and I do want to jump in here real quick. Laura Smedley is saying 4-2 Bolts, and I kind of agree with her.
Okay, you think 4-2?
Yeah, I'm thinking 4-2.
That's the official Puck What You Heard prediction.
Puck What You
heard it here. All right, so let's do this drawing. Hey, Wednesday nights, 7 o'clock. Gene is going to be on the Shooter in the Stash channel. Go show up, or he's not going to broadcast to our page anymore. And he still does it all off season. There's football news all year,
all
round.
the time.
So,
we still don't know if Brady is going to come back or not.
Yeah,
I mean,
maybe
we still don't even know.
Maybe he'll invite me to come on the show sometime and give my opinion
about
on the
You're
Bucks.
not playing hockey. I mean, when you're not playing hockey,
you know nothing.
Wednesday nights are tough for me.
He's a Ravens fan. Come on.
Enough about me.
Lamar
Enough
Jackson
about
the whole
me.
Stop it.
Let's do a drawing. Somebody's gonna win Smack Apparel tonight, and this is a random draw, so don't get mad at me if you lose. It is Tiffany Sawyer.
Oh yeah,
we know her. All right, Tiffany. Congrats.
You
won. And Tiffany is one of those folks that will be in Nashville with us. So hopefully she'll have her Smack shirt on by then. All right, Tiffany, hit us up and let us know. Shoot us a DM. Gene, we'll see you tomorrow night on the channel. All right. What are you going to talk about? Give us a little preview. Quick preview.
Little preview. I'm going to have Evan Winter on, who's actually in Tennessee. Well, and I'm sure you may, who knows, you may run into him at the game. He was with Sports Illustrated. Now he's an editing manager for another company. He just kind of texted me about it. I still haven't gone to research all that, but we'll be talking a little bit of the fallout from the Super Bowl and free agency, and maybe even a little bit of the draft. Who knows?
There's nothing to talk about with the Bucks right now.
Yeah, nothing to talk about.
So, no free agents, no retirement.
They've got Blaine Gabbert. What's the quarterback situation? They got Blaine.
The quarterback situation's all fixed. You got Blaine.
That's why I'm not allowed on any Bucks shows.
It's all about Trask. Kyle, come on, Kyle.
All right, man. Appreciate you. We'll talk to you soon.
Thanks for having me on.
Jane, thanks, bud.
All right, we'll send him out with a strike. Boom. All right, so out with the Bucks talk and in with Neil from Devil's State of Mind. Let's give him a little organ music. There he is.
Yeah.
Neil.
Hello, gentlemen. How we doing?
Hey.
Doing well, brother. Doing well. Welcome in.
Yeah, my name is Neil. It's for anybody that wants to know. So
yeah, I think everyone's got it now.
I'm
hoping everyone's got it. Well, hey, we've got this game tonight. We're super excited because our team's been barely playing any games. I'm sure your team's been barely playing any games this month. Tell us a little bit about Devil's State of Mind, your show. And then, my question for you is, what's it like for, a podcaster like yourself to see a powerhouse like the Tampa Bay Lightning come into town full strength for the first time all season, really? So I know I just threw like 18 questions at you, but go ahead and answer them all.
Am I allowed to curse?
Yes.
Come on in.
We encourage
the Devils are fucked tonight, aren't they? I mean, you look at our team and we're not at full strength. I mean, we haven't been at full strength since the season started. We're without Jesper Bratt, Yanni Kuokkanen, Andreas Janssen. I mean, we have several guys out of the lineup. Dougie Hamilton still dealing with a jaw injury. Miles Wood hasn't played all year. No Mackenzie Blackwood. No Jonathan Bernier. And, I mean, we're just trying to hold on and get through the season as best we can. Yes, Sarah, I do think I should start that hashtag on Twitter. But for some reason, we do play pretty competitively against most of the really good teams in the National Hockey League. So I think from a series standpoint, I do think it'll be a relatively competitive game. I think that the Lightning may take the Devils a little bit for granted, considering where the Devils are in the standings and everything like that. And considering that it'll be in New Jersey, I think that will definitely give the Devils a little bit of an advantage with regards to that. But it's obviously not great that the entire Lightning team is rested and ready to go for tonight. I'm sure they're going to be anxious to get on the ice and get going. And for the Devils, I mean, the thing about it is that the Devils, after tonight, are off for another 8 or 9 days. So they're hoping to try to finish this little, series here, try to finish it on a high note. And hopefully by the time we get back, when we play Pittsburgh in a week and change, we're a little bit more at full strength. Maybe Dougie Hamilton will be back. Hopefully Bratt, Quokinen, guys like that will be back in the lineup, and we'll kind of go from there. But to answer the first question, the Devil State of Mind podcast, as I say on my podcast, is the place to get everything you need to know about the New Jersey Devils. We have new episodes every Monday and Thursday. So we had a new episode coming out that came out yesterday. I am part of the Hockey Podcast Network, which covers every single team in the National Hockey League, including other great hockey content as well. We have a podcast for every single team, including the Tampa Bay Lightning, the Bolts podcast. Shout out to those guys. And yeah, I mean, it's been a lot of fun to do. I've been doing it for over 2 years now, and we've grown a really, really awesome following. It's definitely a very popular podcast, and I often wonder how much popular it would be if the team was actually good. But it's definitely been
still not that great.
No. Wait, we haven't gotten better.
We have 2 Stanley Cups and we're
you didn't start your show during a Stanley Cup run like we did.
Yeah, you should have started your show, and then the team immediately wins back-to-back Stanley Cups like we did. That's
what you're supposed
the best way to grow your hockey podcast. That's the advice we give people. Have a team win back-to-back cups as soon as you start.
Well, hopefully we do start turning it around, because us Devils fans are very, very impatient with the way things have gone of late. But, the Devil State of My podcast has been great. I love working for the Hockey Podcast Network, and I'm looking forward to doing more with them and continuing to promote the New Jersey Devils, because not a lot of promoting is going on with this team right now.
Yeah, they're definitely at a low, which is kind of a shame to see. I know they're still in the East with us, so we don't want teams in the East to be that good. We already got enough good teams in the East. But, in the 90s, the Devils were like a top franchise. They won
Brodeur.
2 cups, right?
Brodeur,
Scott
95,
Stevens.
2000 and 2003 were the years we won the cup.
Yeah. So they had a really good run there in the 90s,
and that was right before
2000s.
the Lightning won in 2004, and the Lightning kind of had to cut their teeth the 2 seasons before getting through New Jersey to get to that. And that, you can't hate everybody, as a fan. Like I've always said that, like, you can, as a fan of your team, you can have your rivalry teams that you hate. Clearly we have plenty, especially in the East. And it's really easy with teams like Boston and Pittsburgh and Washington. It's real easy to hate certain teams. I've never hated New Jersey. I've always respected the Devils as a franchise. I mean, it's really strange, liking something that has to do with New Jersey as a Floridian. But, I've never had a problem. I've always respected that franchise and the organization. So, I know you guys have a passionate fan base. I know you have a deep fan base, a lot of history up there, a lot of culture of winning for a long time. And, I know it's got to be a struggle getting through right now whenever you see what you guys are doing, and you see some of the other teams and markets that aren't quite as traditional being so successful. Carolina, Florida, Tampa. I imagine it could be a little bit tough sometimes when you see teams like us rolling it down.
The hardest pill to swallow, and you just mentioned it about, there are teams that you can, really hate and dislike. The tough pill for us is that the Rangers kind of started their rebuild at around the same time that we did. And as you can see by what they've done this year and everything like that, they have clearly taken the right steps and are developing very, very nicely. And it's tough when you look at us and we say, we have so much talent here and we're not getting the best out of it. And we feel that there are several different reasons why. We are been very unlucky with COVID and with injuries the last couple of years. And we also just haven't found the right head coach. I know Lindy Ruff has a track record from years ago with Buffalo and Dallas, but I don't think that his style of play and the way he coaches at this point is good for this team. And I think that they need to bring in more of a winner. I know that they wanted to bring in Gerard Gallant, but he wanted to coach the Rangers. Peter Laviolette wanted more money, but ownership didn't want to, fork it up. But I can understand it with now that they just got James Harden for their basketball team. So I guess that's I guess that's whatever.
Right.
But you know, the hope is that the team turns the right way. I mean, that's what we're. I feel like we're very, very close. And once we get everything going with the right coach and the right system in place, we're going to start having success. And there's obviously some holes that need to be filled. You know, goaltending is a question mark. We need to add more scoring. Defense needs a little bit of an upgrade, but it's gotten better. It's better this year than it was last year. And you know, with the fact that we do have money and we can weaponize it, and we have, you know, prospects that you know, we probably are pretty willing to move on if it means we get more of an impact player, because I think we need more NHL ready players at this point, because I think we have the majority of our core set for the next 5 to 10 years. We need to start being more aggressive in the trade market and trying to take advantage of teams that could be in salary cap trouble. We thought we had it with Tampa last year with thinking about getting Sergachev, but you guys found a way somehow to keep him. We
injury.
Hey, what did Vegas do today? What was about Vegas? What was that about Vegas and Mark Stone? Don't worry about the Lightning. We'll focus on the now. That was the past.
Look, the game's the game. I understand it. I look, if that's one of the rules that's in place, then nobody's cheating. They're just following the rules. So, I mean, I was upset about it at first, but once I understood what the rule was and how it works, I was like, okay, so they didn't do anything wrong. They just did exactly what the rule says that they can do. So, I mean, when I saw Vegas today put Mark Stone on long-term IR, I'm like, to me, they're just taking a page out of the Lightning book and saying that's the only thing we haven't done yet to win a Stanley Cup. We haven't put one of our big players on long-term IR. So once we do that, I think we'll be in good shape. So
copycat league.
Yeah, it is a copycat league, but we'll see what happens the rest of the season for the Devils. I think at this point for all of us, we just want to win as much as possible. We don't care anymore about draft position, trying to get the number 1 overall pick. We've done that before. We've been there, done that. We just want to win. We just want this team to compete and win, and you know, hopefully they can continue to compete and put on a good showing tonight.
So the one question, sorry, I just want to ask him about PK and what his take is on PK Subban being on the team, and how, as a fan, you know, for a while, and what you think he brings to the team, doesn't bring to the team, or what you think his impact has been on your organization.
I like PK Subban, the person. I love his personality. I love what he brings. He is a guy that promotes the game of hockey so well. He promotes the Devils really well over the last couple of years. I feel like he's helped the Devils kind of get some, you know, notice around the league in terms of, you know, social media and things like that. I think all of that is important. From a defensive perspective, he's a defensive liability. He is not the guy that I think a lot of Devils fans thought we were getting 3 years ago. And whether or not it's because of the system that's in place here in New Jersey, or his age, or a combination of many things, it just hasn't worked out the way that we hoped. Offensively, this has been his best season, which isn't really saying a whole lot. But he's a guy that I think if the Devils decided to keep after the year and give him like a contract that was only $2 million as opposed to the $9 million that Nashville signed him and then we eventually took over in the trade, I wouldn't be opposed to it that much. But, you know, I've interacted with Subban numerous times on social media. He's shared several of my stories on Instagram and things like that. He's a really, really good guy. And, you know, if this ends up being, you know, the last couple of weeks we see him with the Devils and he gets traded at the deadline, you know, that's part of the business and we kind of move on. But, I mean, his $9 million is coming off the books either way. And we're hoping that we can take that extra $9 million that we get to try to elevate the team moving forward. But Subban has been a kind of a 50-50 for a lot of people. It's either that they really appreciate the person that he is, and or they really don't like the way that his game has deteriorated in several ways since he got here.
Yeah, I don't know if they'll be able to trade the $9 million. So it'll be interesting.
No, by the time we get the deadline, it'll only be about 3.5. So it will be easier for a team to take it on moving forward for the rest of the season. But again, I think the chances of him getting dealt because of the contract is very slim. But I mean, if there is an offer on the table, I don't think the Devils would be necessarily against taking it.
I think it would definitely be the buyer's market on that. I think they Jersey would have to really give up, just take it for peanuts. But
they'd have to
I
put in a
think
sweetener to get something.
When I think of him, I think of what Lightning have done with Maroon, where I think PK's problem in New Jersey is New Jersey's gotten faster. They put all the young guys in. And Tampa did that too, but then we started sprinkling in some of those older veteran guys that could go Maroon speed. And I think that's where Subban hasn't gotten the help from New Jersey. They've just gotten faster and gotten younger, where Subban has stayed older and he just can't skate with the team he has there on the ice.
Yeah, I mean, and I think that's one of the big reasons why Tampa was able to get over the hump over the last 2 years and win the Cup. I think that they understood some of the areas that they were lacking from years past, and they got grittier, they got more physical. They got guys like Pat Maroon. They bring in Corey Perry, which I thought was an excellent move in my opinion, considering the player that he is now. You had Zach Bogosian and guys like that who were physical and at the same speed as Maroon and were able to, create some really, really good, bottom six depth. So, I mean, I think you nailed it on the head, Tom, that the game has passed him by in several ways, and he needs to be in a system where he doesn't have to be the man. Because sometimes I think he still tries to play like he's the man on the team. And the reality is he's just not that guy anymore.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what he does, because he's going to be a heck of a TV personality. I mean, he's going to get hired by ESPN immediately or NHL Network immediately. So I don't know. Does he get the offer to make more money doing that after this contract runs out?
I would think that his future is definitely more lucrative going forward, starting next year in the TV industry than it would be in the NHL, because teams like you're talking, that money that he got paid from Nashville, people have just been waiting for that contract to end, and then he declined before the end of that contract so they could get any real value out of him after it being overpaid for the last couple of seasons. So I think teams would be crazy to spend much more than a couple $1 million a year on that guy. And I'm actually a little bit surprised to hear how much the fan base has embraced him, because I know around the league, he's a lot more of a polarizing figure. Whenever you see some of the things when the NHL tries to promote him on social media, most of the commentary about him is fairly negative. As far as him being a dirty player, and also, a lot
and
of
I don't disagree with that either.
A lot of his commentary is racially skewed, or not skewed, but racially, like the racial tones to it. So I think, he's very polarizing in that way off the ice. And so I think it's very interesting to hear a place like New Jersey has embraced him so well as a person versus, him being not that great of a asset on the ice.
Well, Nashville did too, and Nashville is country bumpkin, so you had two, I don't want to say the whitest towns, but
I think he's also changed a little bit as a player since he was at Nashville too. Like, I think his agenda has become a lot more one way, you know what I mean?
I think the other thing that I should just mention is that where the Devils play in Newark is predominantly black. And I think that having PK Subban benefits it because he is able to connect with that community. And the Devils use him a lot to connect with the community, which is important. The other thing I'll say straight up is that we're not thrilled that PK Subban slew foots half of the players in the National Hockey League. And we don't try to defend it either. I mean, that's the other reality of it all. We don't try to defend that, we didn't slew foot. Like when he did it to Ryan Reeves in the preseason, it was like, no, that's exactly what it was. Because say what you want about PK Subban, he's an asshole on the ice. He is an asshole. He does a lot of things that piss off 3/4 of the National Hockey League. I mean, when Taylor Hall was still on the Devils, he didn't like PK Subban. He didn't like him before he got there, and he didn't like him when they were playing together because he can be an asshole. The reason why I think he's liked more now, especially in the Devils locker room, is because 3/4 of our team is much younger than he is. And they all know PK Subban from when he was in Montreal and being one of those, the Norris Trophy defenseman that he was, and being a guy that a lot of young hockey players, because of his personality, can relate to. And that's where I think the benefits are. But then when it comes to the on-ice production, I mean, a lot of us are just kind of counting down the days till his contract is up. Because he was one of those guys that we brought in to try to help win now when we were trying to convince Taylor Hall to stay long term. And it didn't work out. It just flat out didn't work out. But that's part of the business. You know, you got to make decisions like that, and they don't always work out.
Yeah. You guys had that one flash season. I forget what year it was, but
17-18.
We took you out in the playoffs. That was a great series, by the way, with Ryan Boyle going back and forth with Sergachev.
Right.
And
I was convinced that if the Devils had won game 4 and it was 2-2, that it was definitely the makings of a series that could have gone the distance of 7, because the Devils came in with a lot of energy. And I remember the situation where Hedman hit Nico Hischier right between the legs where the sun don't shine, and that kind of stirred up a little bit. And
no way, our guys did not make those kind of plays. That's ridiculous.
It was definitely something that we did not take lightly, but it was definitely fun. But we all knew realistically, we were like, the chances of us pulling off an upset against Tampa is very slim. But we tried, our best, and unfortunately, it turned out to be somewhat of a mirage because we overachieved that year. Because as you can see from the last several years since then, we probably were a little bit too ahead of where we should have been. And, unfortunately, we're paying the price for it a little bit now. But hopefully the next time we get into the postseason, which we all hope is as soon as next year.
Not we all. You all.
Yeah, you all.
Right, exactly. And, we know how good the East is. And we play in the worst division in the NHL, the toughest one. We play in the Metropolitan Division. And I say that with 100% confidence because it's a traffic jam at the top 4. It is a traffic jam. These teams do not move, and we still have to face Ovechkin and Crosby and all those guys, 4 to 5 times a year, and it's tough. And the hope is that we start getting over those humps and start getting back to where we were as a respected franchise in the NHL.
I want to throw out some game stats real quick before.
Sure.
We're 1-1 this year against the Devils. This is the first time we played in New Jersey in 2 years.
Correct.
Ross Colton returns home for the first time since he's won the Stanley Cup.
Yep.
Well, he took it back home. You got Jimmy Vesey's 400th game is tonight.
Yep.
And then you have Chernak's cousin. He's playing against his cousin with Jaros.
Oh,
Wow.
Jaros is his cousin. I didn't know.
Yes.
Deep dive there.
By the way,
deep stats we bring.
That Devils game earlier in the season, anomaly. I know we had a more recent one where we won, but both those games the Devils played really well. In fact, I'd say one of the worst games of the season for the Lightning was when they lost to the Devils early in the season. They had I think they had a 3-goal lead in that game.
It was
and the Devils came back.
Yeah, it was 3-2. I think it was 3-1 going into the third period, and the Devils came back and won 5-3. And that was probably one of the more bigger wins of the season for us. I mean, that was still at a time when we really thought that we were turning the page, and going to Tampa, a place that we haven't had a lot of success over the last couple of years, and beating that Lightning team was important. But we knew the second time around it was going to be different. And we know tonight, I mean, you are facing a third way different Devils team than the other 2 times you've faced us. I mean, we are changing by the day because of injuries and things like that. And, it's going to, I still think the Devils, though, are going to make it a battle. I don't think that they're just going to lie down like they did against Toronto a couple weeks ago. I think that they're going to try to come out and play hard. And, they just want to put on a good showing. They just want to try to finish the season on a high note. That's really where we're at this point.
Yeah. And that's the Bolts problem this season is, they're getting everyone's best shot, right? Like everybody wants to beat the back-to-back champ. But right now the Devils are 2-8 in their last 10 games, 26 overall in the league. Power play, not good. Penalty kill, not bad. They've got some good young players. I really like Jack Hughes. I think the main problem with the Devils, and I don't even know who's in net tonight, but I feel like that's the problem. I looked it up. You've had 6 starting goalies this season.
Yeah, you beat me to a shooter because I was just going to say, I think if you really look here at the stats and the way they stack up, goaltending, goals against is probably your biggest problem that the Devils face right now. And goaltending is a big part of it. But like you said, you also have PK Subban back there, who's kind of a liability. You need to shore up that blue line a little bit too. So it's a little bit of column A, a little bit of column B. And you're not alone. A lot of teams in the NHL are facing a similar problem. You know what I mean? So
we have taken for granted, considering we had the greatest goaltender to play the position for over 2 decades. We've taken for granted the goaltending position. We had Corey Schneider for a long time, who played very well. His win-loss record just wasn't good because the team didn't support him. We didn't have offense. We could not score. And by the time the Devils got better in 17-18, he started to regress. He had a groin injury he has never been able to recover from. And it got so bad that the team bought him out 2 years ago. And then you look at other guys that we've had, Keith Kincaid, who's a sieve with the New York Rangers. You have Mackenzie Blackwood, who shows flashes of being that guy, but he can't stay healthy, and we're running him into the ground because we don't have a backup. This league has become much more of a 1A, 1B type league, with the exception of obviously a team like Tampa. But even still, Tampa, I think what was it, 2 years ago they had Curtis McElhaney as their backup?
Yep.
And
well, both of our Stanley Cup teams, he never had to even go in net.
Yeah, but still, he was solid for the position that he was asked to be in. And he was, I mean, hell, we were so infatuated by Louis Domingue's record when he was with Tampa that we took him on, and every Lightning fan said, this is not what you think it is. This is only because of the team he has in front of him. He's not really that good. And we found that out the hard way. Then you have Blackwood. We had Corey Crawford, who decided to retire before the season even started. You had Scott Wedgwood, who's been put on waivers twice and picked up twice now by Arizona.
Also,
you have freaking we had Jonathan Bernier, who got hurt early in this season. We've had 2 rookie goaltenders, and we had to trade for a guy who's like at best a fringe minor league goaltender who's playing in his 4th game in a row tonight. And goaltending has been an issue for years, and I really don't know where exactly the Devils are going to get that 1A, 1B tandem. I don't know if it's going to have to be through a trade, through free agency, or hoping that one of these young guys develop. But that is one area that we have really, really struggled with when regards to development and giving support. That's really it. And so when you see the goals against average save percentage, it is that bad because we're sticking rookie goaltenders and guys who should be in the minors out there to play very solid starting netminder minutes in the NHL.
And like you said, one of the best divisions in the NHL.
Yep. Well, that's the other thing.
You're playing some of the best guys. Yeah.
Right. You're facing Crosby, Ovechkin, Malkin, Matt Barzal, Chris Kreider. You're facing... Exactly.
Barclay Goodrow.
Barclay Goodrow, who I loved when he was in San Jose. It's difficult. It's very difficult to deal with. And, when we think about offense, we wonder to ourselves, I think a lot of us Devils fans regret now trading away Blake Coleman. I mean, we know what he did in Tampa. Blake Coleman was phenomenal in his role with Tampa.
Playing really well in Calgary right now.
He's playing really well in Calgary. And we look at him and say, we have Nolan Foote, who is, he hasn't been able to, he has not developed. I mean, at least we got Dawson Mercer out of that deal, which actually, we didn't even get Dawson. No, that was with the Arizona pick we got. We got Shakir Mukhamadullin, who's a young defenseman in the KHL that hasn't even played in the NHL yet. So we don't know what the deal is with him. So, I mean, it's difficult it was difficult to see Blake Coleman win those 2 cups, although he definitely deserved it because he was really, really good for us. And he was really, really good with Tampa Bay. And he earned that $6 million contract that he got. Well,
and don't worry, there are plenty of Rangers fans that were sitting there watching Ryan McDonough win that cup right along with you. And, a couple other teams, Montreal fans, watching
St. Louis Blues.
St. Louis fans.
I used to joke that Tampa was just the retirement home for former Rangers because it just seemed like all the time you guys were getting.
We say it proudly.
They came down here and they had a rebirth. If you look at all of a sudden,
the only exception I would say maybe was Ryan Callahan.
Yeah, well, mostly because he couldn't stay healthy, but
that's true.
When healthy, he was definitely the bridge to this current mentality that this locker room has. I think he was the guy that they brought in really, obviously as Marty was leaving, that that really helped bridge to this next level and help support Stamkos as a captain, because he was a former captain and he came in, and I think that really helped Stamkos as he took over the mantle from St. Louis. So,
Yep.
He didn't stay healthy, but he still produced, and he's still
Absolutely.
like, if people could put his jersey in the rafters here in Tampa Bay, they would. I promise you right now, he is a huge fan favorite. So, like I said, you weren't alone in the last couple of seasons looking at those guys that, we had them, and how did the Lightning end up with this guy? I mean, look how good he is now. How did we? You're not alone. You're not alone. It's been quite a few.
I knew someone was going to ask this question.
Yeah. So here's the thing. We're all getting our Stadium Series jerseys, which for the most part we like here. It's got our.
They nailed it on the head with you guys. They nailed it on the head. It looks great.
Yeah, so we're loving it. Everyone's getting these today.
Random. It is still random to me that you're playing Nashville in an outdoor game in Tennessee, but
we'll take it.
I mean,
we'll take it. Hey, they're talking about doing a game here somehow. I don't know how that will work. But anyway, the question is,
they'll probably play it at Raymond James. Yeah. Oh God.
Do you guys? I mean, you can speak for yourself, but I mean, the majority of the fans, do you like these? I actually don't mind them. I think it's kind of funny.
This is what we're wearing tonight.
Jersey.
Yeah. Here's the problem. I don't hate it, but I don't really like it either, and it's mainly because for the last several years, us as Devils fans have been dying for a black alternate, but I constantly warned people, because this happens a lot, not just with Adidas, but jerseys in general. When you ask for something so badly and you try to rush it, you're not going to get exactly what you were asking for. And I do feel that there was a lot of pressure on the Devils to get a black jersey that maybe they just decided this year that they were going to push it, and they tried to find some heritage around it. I mean, it's based around the two professional hockey teams that New Jersey had back in the 20s. And the problem with it is that it looks exactly like the Chicago Blackhawks Winter Classic jersey from several years ago. I mean, it looks like we just ripped off that team, and we've kind of run with the whole joke with everybody saying it's the jersey. We have a hat that literally just says hat. Yeah. I mean, we've run away with this joke, but
it's not funny anymore.
it's really not funny anymore. People ask me, like, what do you think? Again, there was so much potential, and I've seen so many people. I mean, you guys see it on social media, graphic designers left and right making their own designs of things, and they look about 30 times better than anything that Adidas, Reebok, or anybody else could put out there. And I think that was kind of, I'm not blaming those designers, but I'm saying you see all of those jerseys before you see this one, and you're hoping that it's got to be something like that. And then when we find out this is what we're getting, and especially when we found out it was Martin Brodeur who designed this, we don't feel all that great about it. And I mean, I guess
I didn't know that.
You
should stick to goaltending.
That was what we were saying. A lot of us were saying, I really think you should stick to your day job and just kind of go from there. But I mean, look, it looks okay on the eye. They're wearing it tonight, so we'll see what happens with that. But,
they are? No shit.
Yeah,
all right.
You guys caught us. This is one of the alternate jersey nights, so congratulations to you guys. And I mean, it is what it is. We'll see what they look like tonight. I mean, it's not great. I mean, honestly, even the jersey that the Stash is wearing is a better black alternate than what we have. In all honesty, and I think that.
Well, and again, this is the last one. This isn't the current one that the Lightning have.
No, it's the last one, and that was good. The black one that they got recently was also good. I like the whole stealth. I don't know if they called it stealth. I felt like that was kind of the point of it. But
Disrupt
I kind of like
night. It was disrupt.
Right. Yeah. It looks good. It looks very good. It's very, very simple. And that's also what I was hoping for. I was hoping for just simple. Like, let's not get crazy with the black jersey. And they got a little bit crazy. And now that the reverse retros are coming back next year, I don't know where this team's going to go. I mean, this is the one that we have, and I love this one. I mean, this is my favorite.
Right. Oh yeah,
that's green and red.
Me too.
Right? So they're gonna have to change it up.
Reverse, it's the reverse.
If I was a jersey guy, that's the sweater I'd probably wear.
I mean, it's I don't hate it, but I don't really like it either. To put it, and I would say most people got kind of just used to it and accepted that this is what it is. So they pretend like they like it, but if you saw the reactions immediately on social media, nobody really liked it. At all.
Well, I liked it, but yeah, it
And
does
see,
seem like
that's
a
the thing.
bad
Everybody outside the Devils organization goes, "Oh, it's not that bad," and I'm like, "You try being a fan of the team and try to convince yourself that this looks good."
Yeah,
That's what I'm saying.
I didn't buy it,
Right.
so
No, I didn't buy it either. This is the one. That is the one jersey I was like, "No, I'm okay. I don't really need to spend my money on this piece of crap design."
All right. Well, we got the puck dropping here in about 2 minutes. So,
Yeah.
Neil, thank you for coming on.
Yep,
If people want to find you, it's at Devil's State. Is that both on Twitter and Instagram?
This is my Twitter handle at Devil State. We're on Instagram at Devil's State of Mind, and you could also like us on Facebook as well.
Hey, Neil, I got something to say to you real quick.
Go ahead, Tom.
I'm just looking past you a little bit, and Giants suck. Have a good night.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah, man. I've been waiting. Damn it, school, you beat me to it again. You son of a bitch. You beat me to it again.
Enjoy the one Super Bowl that Brady got you.
Hey, we've had one before that, too.
Yeah, well, I'm a Cowboys fan, too. So,
okay.
yeah.
Well,
we take our jabs in the last minute here.
Thank you guys so much for having me on today. This was a lot of fun.
Party shots.
Thank you.
Hey, man,
all right,
thanks
so
for being here. You're great. You're a great guy. Very knowledgeable, and
thank you.
Definitely came with some good takes, brother. So we appreciate it.
Oh, there's the black jersey.
And we'll be back next Tuesday night, last show before the Stadium Series, which we'll all be at. So make sure you tune in for some more news about that. Enjoy the game tonight. Until next time, this has been We the Thunder. Don't forget to be the Thunder.
That's it.
That's it.